Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about organization skills or organization qualities, things that you need to know. Anyway, let's get into it. So the question in question here is, Frederick, can you make a video about organizational skills that you need or that you have and that is useful to have as a software developer? Now this is pretty much going to, well, I've made a few videos about this because there's quite a lot of, what we usually call these things is, well, we call them soft skills. What type of soft skills do you actually need to as a developer? And this is kind of up in the air there for quite a lot of people because it's very hard, of course, to define exactly what do you need in an organization to, as a software developer, to perform well. But I have touched on this in quite a few videos, but I'm happy to do so again. So let's just put the obvious thing to the side. So if we're not talking about technical skills, we're just talking about soft skills. So technical skills would be everything like just producing the software, right? But when it comes to soft skills, one of the, if not the most important thing, like I would say the absolute most important thing that you need to learn is to understand business value. Without that, you will never, ever become an entrepreneur or become like some big shot, or like this is the thing that decides pretty much how valuable you are as a software developer after you have mastered the technical parts. Now, what I mean by that isn't that technical skills aren't important, because they are the most. I will argue it's like that's your bread and butter. You need to be able to produce the results. But after that comes a business understanding. You need to have that larger perspective on things because it ties into everything you do. You need to be the sort of developer who understands when it's important to go for quality, when it's important to cut corners, when it's important to sit down and plan things out, or when you need to just hack things together. You need to understand, and the better you understand business value and the cost benefit ratio, and how your company works and how your stakeholders work, the more effective you are going to be at producing code, actually, because of something that I've said a few times as well. You see, code always changes, always, no exceptions. And the thing about that is that if you understand your company and you understand the business that you are in, you understand your stakeholders, you can predict what the next features are going to be. You can predict what to build for somebody else. It's not just important for people who are employed as a developer at some big company. It's also important for freelancers. It's important for your own startup. Everything comes down to, okay, now you have the skills to build whatever you want. You have mastered programming, if you will, but now you need to know what to build. That's the point, right? That's half the equation. It doesn't matter if you know how to build something if you're not building something that people are interested in. And it's not just about building the right thing. It's about building the right thing for the moment. So having the ability to actually understand and really listen to the stakeholders, such as your sales department, is one of the most important people to listen to, for sure, because they are basically they are the voice of your customers. Well, listening to the customers, of course, the most important thing, but usually the way that you hear about these sorts of things is by listening to support staff, talking to, say, in the sales department and so forth. So having a good relationship with these people will actually improve your ability to write really useful features and come with really good technical improvements to your company. And at the end of the day, that's what they're hired to do. Quite a lot of developers get very, very far into the engineering aspects of things, and I mean that is expected to a point, and it's very useful as well. But the people who truly excel are the people who understand the company's needs, and because these are the people who start to have a very big impact on the company as a whole, because these are the developers who not only produce the results, they can also create the stories, they can create the next roadmap, they can be involved in a business decision. These people are a lot more valuable than people who are just code monkeys, because these are the people who will make or break your company. That's pretty much it, because the big dirty secret for a lot of people is that it's actually very hard to figure out what the next thing is going to be. especially if you don't have any technical understanding. Business people can all, like sales or the representatives and so forth, they can only push things so far, but without a technical understanding, it's very often that you will find, and you will see this in large organizations, when there is a big gap between the communication, well, between basically the sales department and engineering, you will see that in the organization. Because the thing is, and this is what the big companies understand, I think, which is, cross-functional teams, this agile work development, all of this sort of stuff, this comes from this basic idea that the closer you can bring these people together, the clearer, the tighter their communication can be, the quicker you can actually produce innovation and new features. Because the people who have a sales education or who actually works in sales, they are very good at something, they're good at what they're doing, but they don't have the technical understanding to figure out that, oh yeah, we have these issues or we have these customer requirements. Well, without the technical understanding to actually figure out a technical solution to these sorts of problems, it's very hard to just have that genius idea that, oh yeah, if we just do this and that, we could actually save a lot of money, or we could do this, or we could do that. That's what a technical education or a technical perspective gives you. You know what is possible, and that makes it easier for you to actually come up with new ideas. I mean, it's not exclusive to engineers in any way, but having that collaboration for sure is the most important thing. So that's number one, having the ability to, for sure, have the ability to understand business requirements. It's the most important thing. I would say apart from that, it would be to have a really, really strong, well, of course, communication skills are important. I hope we can all agree on that, but it's a little bit boring to just talk about communication skills. So I would say that having a very pragmatic approach to software development and having a, let's call it an empathy, if you will, to have a, it's so hard to describe, but to have that ability to gain the trust of other people. That's one of the, it's so important that it's almost ridiculous. I've had this problem so many times. I actually had that discussion with one of my own managers where we had this talk about selling your ideas, and I've talked about this as well in a few videos, that if you can get people to trust you as a professional or as an individual and so forth, you will find it so much easier to get things done. You have no idea how hard it is to go through a process of proving yourself over and over and validating and proving your ideas over and over. You may have seen that some people, they can come into a room and just say, we're going to do this. And everybody's just on board immediately. They can get their ideas through immediately, or they can warn people and people immediately listen and say, yeah, we should probably not do that. But then there are people who just go in and say, yeah, we should probably be doing this and that, and nobody cares. And everybody kind of just shrugs and says, yeah, sure, that sounds great, we'll think about that. That's that thing. Let's call it leadership or sales skills or something like that. That thing is enormously important, especially if you're going to be a manager, because you may have thought that, just by saying that, hey, we're going to do this, then it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. What usually happens is that people who lack the ability to sell things or sell ideas are going to be like myself. I'm unfortunately a really shitty salesman. And that basically means that all I ever get to do is to sit and say, I told you so. And that's a really shitty position to be in, because basically what you do is that you state what's going to happen, or you explain that, oh, if we do this, this and this and this is going to happen, but you don't get anybody to really listen to you. You don't really get anybody to adhere to the ideas that you have. And then you can only really fold and wait until something happens, or like things actually turn out the way that you said, and then you can sit and say, yeah, I told you so. And when you're really shit at it, like myself, you can really only keep on doing that. And it's like I can't even explain it myself. I just don't get it. It's like, it doesn't matter how many times you turn out to be right, because the next time they still doubt you, and then the next time they still doubt you, and then they doubt you again, and you keep on being right over and over and over, yet nobody listens. But if you're the CTO, or someone with in the expert democracy with a perceived high business value, where you basically just go in and everybody listens to you immediately, it doesn't matter how many times you are wrong, people will still just follow, most likely because they're worried that they're going to lose their job. So that's, I would say, the second most important thing. You need to be able to clearly communicate your ideas and your suggestions to get that trust from other people, so that they feel that, yeah, this person kind of knows what they're talking about. If you can get them to listen to you and follow, everything becomes so much easier. It's the equivalent in IT of being extremely beautiful or attractive. Everything becomes much easier if you can do this. So what I want you to take away from this is that, at least for me, the two most important things in terms of like organizational skills within software development is, number one, to have the soft skills, like to have the business mindset, to understand upcoming features and like the impact of certain business decisions and the movements of the market, and having that over like that bigger perspective on the work that you do. Because the thing is, guys, you're not hired to write code, you are hired to make money for the company. So if you can figure out better ways of working, or if you can figure out how to write things that will make money for the company, or how to improve things somehow, it's much more valuable than you can possibly imagine. Because the thing is, that's the thing that makes or breaks the company. That's the thing that made Google what they are. That's what made Facebook what they are. Netflix, all of these big super companies have engineers who have a business mindset. They understood this, understood the importance of market value. I cannot stress that enough, how important it is. The second thing is, as I said, to have the ability to gain trust, to move people. If you have the ability to get people to basically listen to your ideas, and you're a good salesman, if you will, you will find everything much easier. You will, because even if you're right, even if you have the best ideas and you turn out it turns out that you're right all the time, that doesn't matter, because if people don't listen to you, you're not going to get any of your brilliant big picture ideas through, because nobody cares about your opinion on something. And that is a really shitty and frustrating path to take. So yeah, make sure that you're a better salesman than I am, at least. Have a great day.